don't even work for this company, okay? And I'm thinking about the ranked integrity, because messing up the ranked integrity is very, very big deal. It is what kills the context. When context dies, the game is soon to follow. Today we're going to talk about the LP problems. Apex LP gains. Hey everyone, we had a lot of attempted changes to resolve some of the root issues with Apex experience. Some have worked okay and some haven't worked as well. They couldn't fix it at all, man. So let's see. Less than 5 of our 16 regions are having negative LP gains in Apex right now, and they're to varying extents. Some of those experiencing it consistently, and others just a little bit, none of it all. So this implies that I have no clue like what is going on, what is pushing the problem. We don't see any long-term issues. It really shouldn't be ages, but it could be part of it. Masters being more achievable this season, the best players getting stronger. I love that they always weave this one in, which is somewhat true, but they're always weaving this one in because it just kind of vindicates what they're doing. As the years go on, is expanding gap between the bottom of Master and top of the Challenger. Yepers. The addition of Challenger duos made it more challenging to balance some of these games. Well, I mean, who could have predicted that the adding duos in Challenger would be a difficult thing to balance, you know? Like, are you kidding me? Well, we took preemptive mitigations to reduce the impact of things like rank 1 and 2 doing together. They weren't powerful enough and result in the best players catapulting further ahead. That is true. This is especially true when you look at North America, which is a low population server. All the best players know each other and they're like streamers and working together. So you have like TF Blade and Viper, for example, doing when they're like orders of magnitude better than the rest on the server and like the average solo queue player. The solo queue games get populated by like diamond to low master players because they don't have enough players. So you have up like 90% of win rate, and they just solve solo queue in a way. That was very, very predictable. The rollout of our improved matchmaking and better balance to duos. This is now live in every region, does a better job balancing duos and balancing. This is something they've done, and it generally felt like they kind of helped it a little bit, but again, you're fixing a problem that you introduced for no reason, and even still, it's like a big problem. You just kind of hit it with a carpet a little bit. In the live rank system, the max LP attainable is a soft cap. This is the most important part, okay? This is what we're going to discuss today a lot of the time, okay? Attainable LP is a soft cap to prevent LP gains from getting too high, which combined with the above issues has led to less than ideal Apex ladder experience. Some people have been arguing for the reset of the ladder. Reset of the ladder is, in a way, stupid. It probably shouldn't happen. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to talk because I hit rank 1 during the season. So everything I say is going to be counted as biased, but you're not supposed to reset the ladder during the ladder, okay? You need to take one of the off-ramps on the next split starting, like the next season starting. The solo queue experience, the integrity is the #1 thing you want to maximize, and whatever happens, you are not supposed to change how ranked works during the live season. Okay, that is the #1 rule which Riot Games cross. That's one of the big problems here, among plethora of other things, and we're gonna discuss that as well. There are some sort of people who are really vocal about resetting the ladder. We hear the concerns and are taking them seriously. Instead of just saying like, okay, we're listening, but we're not going to do anything, which is like a kind way to say like it's a bad idea. At the same time, there are a lot of players who will find it very frustrating for all the progress to be reset. So now they're trying to like lean you into the direction, which is a very rational direction that like reset will do more harm than good. It's just not a thing. You don't want to do reset. The max LP attainable is a soft cap to prevent LP gains from getting too high. The closer you get to the top of the ladder, you need a higher and higher win rate to climb. This is an objectively good thing. This is what you need to do, which is something they've removed right now. But they were doing it in the wrong way entirely in the first place. So now they've caused more harm than good. Again, something we're going to talk about. As player gets closer and closer to the cap, their gains will approach plus 10 minus 30. We're going to remove this cap, which will unbound LP on the top end. Ridiculous. And result in a very best players being able to play and climb pretty high values, plus 30 minus 10, until they start to reach where they should be. This is absurd, man. How the hell? Like, how the hell do you know where somebody's supposed to be if he's like 2,300? Like, well, this guy's not supposed to be 2,300. He's supposed to be at the unprecedented 2,600. They should have positive gains at 2,600. Like, what are you talking about? Why do you have the Guardian MMR, like, watching over your gameplay interactions when you could have this simple ELO system that can govern everything? It just makes no sense. I will show you in the notepad later on examples why this is really, really absurd. It will also make LP gains for the entire Apex ladder more stable. That is true, but it's going to make the ladder in itself unstable, which is exactly what's happening right now. People are losing their mind. But LP cutoffs for Grandmaster and Challenge will also increase when most players have No longer negative. This is gonna cause like insane instability. This is like the thing that got quoted. I cannot believe Phroxzon tweeted this. Even if the system exactly works as he explains here, you should never write this. This is ridiculous because this is gonna be, I mean, it already has been, I think, like the most quoted moment out of this, and people are always telling this, and people like came into my stream and I was playing Slay the Spire, and they were like, well, Phroxzon said we're going LP unbound to 4K, and I was like, you're lying, like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's stupid. There's no way Riot would do that. It's ridiculous. It's moronic. Well, we got it in writing. It just makes no sense. Grandmaster and Challenge meant to be very difficult to achieve. That's not the way the difficulty is measured. And it's intended, or not the healthy way. And it's intended to be challenging to get there. In the same way, this is going to be a bigger problem in the next year, by the way. This is something they've kind of missed the point entirely of the system. I'm, again, putting a pin on this. We're going to talk about this because the next season is going to be even worse. And this is something I've been talking about. At the same time, I heard your feedback that hitting these ranks feels too daunting and grindy. Though there is an expectation that the peak ranks in a game are going to require more dedication to keep. We need to strike a good sweet spot. Yeah, like we can all agree the sweet spot is not at 4K or rank 1. By the way, I've never seen community more unified than this. Like, basically all content creators are kind of like in agreement, in unison. Like, even when we did dynamic queue, which was like, I think season 8 or something, dynamic queue, as bad as it was, and it caused the entire ladder to collapse, and we had to restart the season month into the season, there are some people defending it still among the content creators. Whereas I told you, like, before introduction of the dynamic queue, that the dynamic queue could not work possibly feasibly and it's gonna break the game, and it did break the game, and they still rolled it out, and they had to admit mistake. But even that one had its defenders. This is nobody, okay? Nobody's defending this. Us making climbing at Apex less daunting caused us to add Grandmaster several years ago, and hearing some of those feels. Yeah, now you need like 2. There was already been discussion that like Master and GM and the differences are already like too much between Low Master and High Master, so much so that Low Master is a big fucking meme. And we were already discussing addition of 1 tier in there, or another league. At this point, you need 2 already, and like possibly more. In some regions, the number of Grandmaster Challenge slots being too low for now, how big their region is contributing to the cutoffs being very high. US being a notable example. Wait, how is it like too low? Like US has the maximum amount of challengers, unless they want to increase the number of challenger slots. US has the maximum amount, which is 300. That's for large servers. Here's some thoughts on increasing this. So they're trying to like change the fixed point, which makes no sense again. We might also reconsider the top end. I mean, maybe you can make this, maybe you can make Challenger dynamic based on the number of total players on the server, or number of total players that are ranked. You could make it dynamic, so you end up with like one season 317 challengers, next season 312 or something, depending on the player base. That could work as a somewhat true skill measurement across all servers. It would normalize the comparison of skill level from servers, which is like a minor point. You might also reconsider the top end, how much LP you can gain per win. But I need to be considerate of how much this incentivizes smurfing. Well, if only we had some ideas how to disincentivize smurfing, man. Again, put a pin in that. That's something we talked about. Like, this is rooted in so many issues already that I could talk about this for hours, man. I could talk about this for hours, and we're gonna be nowhere. Nobody's gonna watch the video. Nobody's gonna care. It's gonna make no impact, and it's not gonna change anything. But all of these things are just absurd. Thank you for being patient. We'll fix it. Okay, cool. We got many things to look over. Okay, first things first. Let's just look at some stuff here. Iron 4 to bronze is 400, right? That's 400 LP. Okay. When you go like further, it's like silver is 800. We got gold 12, platinum equals 16, emerald equals 2000. Are you seeing where we're going with this? Diamond is 2400. Master, 2800. Master to rank 1 is 26 already. We are already at 2600. When you reach the top 0.1%, you need to get as a same amount of LP as going from 000 percentile to 99.9 percentile. You need exactly the same amount almost to hit rank 1. This is ridiculous. And they're talking about this increasing, which is inevitably going to increase. In a matter of days, we're going to have 2700, 3K, 4K. You're going to end up at a point where Master 0 LP has more LP necessary than from Iron to Master. Now, this is the main problem generally for people from what I've read in the comments, that everybody's kind of reiterating in their own unique way. And it's very, very important to talk about this and like why this is a problem. And the problem is it's daunting, okay? It's too daunting. And the bigger problem than this is like devaluation of ranked integrity. Okay, this is the number one point. Why is it bad? This is why it's bad. Okay, first is daunting, which is a problem when people want to play, and that's like changing their perception of the game. Inflation generally isn't that problematic until it hits a breaking point. Inflation exists for a while, and it exists to make people believe that they're improving somewhat. Okay, that's the whole idea of adding the emerald and like reducing the divisions from 5 to 4. We reduced divisions from 5 to 4 because it was too daunting. It's too annoying to go through 5 divisions of the same exact rank. It's all about feeling better about climbing. The amount of master players that they don't want to queue up anymore. We have the meme of 1,000 LP low master, okay? And precisely that's the reason why people don't want to play. They don't want to queue up. Like, if you're a master player of 150 LP, like, you're not going anywhere, man. Chances of you hitting, like, GM is absurdly against you. Like, if you're playing at 150, you're way, way more likely to hit Diamond back than to reach another, like, 850 LP. Okay, so this is the bigger picture. The valuation of ranked integrity. This is something like the dual queue. Dual queue does this. This is the sanctity of the ranked integrity. Dual queue is a big problem with this. And I told you, like, dual queue is, like, inherently unbounceable. It's just nothing you can do, especially at the smaller servers. Even in the US, they felt, like, a little bit broken. But, like, if you imagine playing this on, like, a server that has, like, twice as fewer population, like North America, it's just unplayable. Or, like, the Nordic and East, which was the example, has, like, 50% of a US player base, but basically none of the pros and none of the pro scene because all the better players are playing on the US. So what ends up happening is you have, like, Phroxzon, Phantasm, and, like, Raider playing dual queue, and they hit like rank 1 with 85% win rate on Nordic and East. There's nothing stopping them. It doesn't get any more difficult. They're already at a point where they're breaking the game. So devaluation of ranked integrity, that is a big issue. This is something that I've never seen people talk about really right now. Everyone's talking about like the dual queue and the numbers are being too big, which is the general consensus that's a big problem with what's happening with the game. The biggest contributor to the devaluation of ranked integrity is changes during live fucking season. This is the number one thing you're never supposed to do with your game. This is the number one thing you're not supposed to do with your game, okay? Like, you have your preseason, you have your, like, working on the new season and preparation, and you're coming up with the pod and you're brainstorming, okay? I get this. You have prep. You have prep to get it to work, and you have like these splits of like 4 seasons or like 4 months or whatever. Maybe in between those you can do modifications, but during the live season before it resets, you're not supposed to touch it. You're not supposed to touch the live season. This is something I've criticized. It's getting too hot here. This is something I've criticized Riot Games for years and years because they love doing this. They absolutely love doing this. And this is the number one problem when it comes to devaluation of the ranked integrity. Ranked integrity is just completely out of the window right now. It's gone. People already shit on Master as a rank. Now you have a Odysseus hitting rank 1 on like 25.5. He's already at 2600, I think, I believe. Like, congratulations. Hope you're ready to be 4K LP in 2 weeks. Nice 2.5k LP low master in 2 weeks. People are shitting on a guy who just hit rank 1. That is the pinnacle of devaluation, okay? Rank 1 is meaningless. I would hate to be Odysseus right now because you hit rank 1 and like, God knows you're a good player and you're trying and you're really working for it, right? All your work is out of the window because what happened? This happened, okay? This happened. Let me liken this for like people who don't understand how this works. Let's say you're playing like those like football fucking seasons, right? And when you have a draw in football, it's 1 point each team, right? And then you have a like if you win, it's 3 points to a winning team, 0 to the losing. Let's say you have a defensive team that's like going taking draws a lot, and then during the live season of the football season, like halfway through, they're like, you know what, like, these games suck. Let's make draw now 2.5 points to each team. And then all of a sudden, this like team was really good at drawing. It's like, they go up during the live season. Okay, those are the things you can kind of look to tweak, but in between the seasons, okay? You get the point, because you're just killing your game. You're completely killing the integrity during live. It's like the wire is live. There's like electronics flowing through. You cannot change it, okay? I don't like... Your rank should not be dependent whether I played on the good day or the bad day. If I queued up on 19th, I'm like losing 27, gaining 14. Wow, I'm grinding. Okay, good for me. And I'm having 67% win rate to climb, just barely, okay? I sleep over tomorrow. Turns out tomorrow, every motherfucker is getting 25 LP. Eventually, they change it again, and they change it. Like, this is something Riot is known for doing a lot. And they're changing the gains during the live season. And that is the biggest no-no. Like, I don't care if the changes suck, which they do, and we're gonna go into reasons, like, apart from this, why. Let me tell you something. Them doing this, and then pushing the numbers so high up, it devalues even the further season. The damage of this will reverberate throughout seasons, okay? Because now, the faith in the ladder is lost in the long run, okay? People are losing the faith in the ladder and the faith in the rank system to bubble up the best players on the surface. They're losing faith in the game, in the long run, okay? So maybe next year, somebody gets high rank, all the detractors are just gonna, like, go and like, I don't really know. I think the season just... Maybe the season sucks again. Maybe they're doing some bullshit in the background. Okay, you hit rank 1 in the next season. Wow, you're only 2,000 LP. I had 2.6 in the previous season, fucking loser. You're getting into this easy season. You don't want to do that. Ideally, you want to normalize the comparison of the ranking throughout the seasons. That's something you want to do. And you're never supposed to change it on the live. Okay, let's go back to the main, one of the main problems. The max LP attainable has a soft cap that prevents from getting too high. The closer you get to the top of the ladder, you need higher win rate to climb. Okay, this is fine, but this is not how it's supposed to work. So let's talk about from what system we're transitioning to another system. So you have system 1 versus system 2. Okay, system 1, we are having like this soft cap. I think it was about 2K. I think they found that to be like a reasonable number. And there's like a big meme within the community. It's like, oh, Maggie Felix got 2,000 LP. Time for all my gains to get pissy. And then I queue up tomorrow and all my gains are pissy. Because Maggie Felix hit like 2K LP. And it's something that was qualitatively understood by the legal community, but didn't really know exactly like what is happening, and they didn't really have insight into the background. Now we do have insight in the background. They confirm it. If somebody gets too high, the system is like, shut off the gains, okay? The system is not self-regulated. The system needs a hard break, and that's a bad system, okay? You don't want to have a system with a hard break, because what ends up happening is day 1 versus day 2 problem that I talked about, okay? Let's say I queue up today and I grind all my games today. Tomorrow, Maggie Felix or me, we hit 2K, and then the gains are shitty for everybody else. So now, all the other people are feeling really, really bad, climbing, and they're getting punished for it because they didn't play during the right period of time. So you have a system that's governed by the number of soft LP. Okay, the bigger problem of this is that this is the MMR that's directing your LP gains. Okay, you have a guardian. You have a guardian that's looking over your LP. It's constantly watching your LP numbers and constantly instructing the game whether you belong up or down. The ridiculous part about the Guardian, especially at the Challenger level, is like MMR should have no play there. All players are good. You're supposed to be bouncing off of each other's elo. Elo is supposed to be instructing how much you're supposed to win or lose per game, okay? You're not supposed to have a Guardian that's looking over and then saying, this is the gain. Okay, let me give you an example. I talked about the relative gains before. This is an exact confirmed case, by the way. I confirmed this on stream many, many times. You had Calist, he was like 2,400, something like that. Skewmond, 2,300. What? I'm just like popping in like stupid numbers here. Thumbs down, whatever the fuck the name was, 2,200. This is just fictional, but like a kind of approximation. Zubzup, 2,100. Okay, so this is like LP and Challenger. What ended up happening here is I looked over at the gains very, very extensively. So you had like gains, like 15 gains. You have like 16 here for some reason. Then you have like 15 here. And then you had like 17 here, like, or 16, something like that. It was ridiculous, by the way, because it makes no sense. Because you might think, okay, 17 or 16, these are negative gains. These are negative gains, but so are these, okay? And there's no way in hell a person that's like a rank 4 should be gaining less than a person who's already rank 1. Because the implication, because of the implication, that's a funny skit from that sunny Philadelphia. Anyway, the implication here being is that these are not negative gains. These are actually positive gains. Positive relative gains. Okay, these are positive relative gains. Why? Because you're supposed to measure the person to its peers, okay? The peers are around you. So if he's getting more than the people who are below him on the ranking, the rank MMR Guardian is implying that the person belongs higher than rank 1, okay? The person belongs higher than rank 1. Because at some point, we all have to play our games, okay? The implication being that Kalist belongs higher than rank 1. Now, he's a fucking phenomenally talented player. I don't think he belongs higher than rank 1. The system should not be pushing the person to be higher than rank 1. And this is the... he's too good. This is the main problem with the Guardian system, okay? This is the main problem with the system that it, like, uses MMR that's hidden to instruct your gains. The gains should not be instructed by your MMR. It shouldn't exist. Okay, now I'll propose a solution for this like a while ago. Okay, let's say we have a system 2 now. We're talking about a system 2 now. System 2 is uncapped. Okay? We are now in the uncapped system. Okay, the uncapped system, it uses the Guardian all the same, okay? Because it still has MMR. And they say that. We're going to remove this cap, which will unbound the LP at the top end. This is a big problem here, by the way. Result is the very best players being able to play and climb to pretty high LP values. Plus 30, minus 10 until they start to reach where they should be. This is the dangerous statement. Very, very dangerous statement when it comes to these systems. So the Guardian is implied to be existing even in the uncapped system, which makes sense because they just uncapped it. They just removed the cap. So what happens with the Guardian is it's really, really daunting to play the game right now. The competitive integrity is completely pissed. And this is not even the worst part. This is my main point here. So let's say you have a 3,500 LP player, rank 1, okay? You have a 35 LP player, rank 1, by the end of the year, or whatever. Do you know what's the worst part about this? Do you know what is the worst part about this? Next year, okay? Next year is the worst part. Because now you have a player who has MMR of 3,500. Okay, you have a player with MMR of 3,500 in the next year. So when he plays the next year, he's going to be getting like plus 30, minus 10 for a really, really long time until he reaches like 3,300 or something. So the next year, rank 1 is like 4,300 or something. Okay, and it's going to continue to spiral upwards exactly like it was spiraling in current years, just a little bit less so because it was soft capped. Okay, and that's the problem with the Guardian system. The system that, like, I'm just calling it Guardian, like a placeholder, just so we can know what we're referencing in a way. But basically, that's like the two-tier system of having your ELO and then like MMR behind it, and MMR is instructing where you belong. So you're gonna have Master at like 2k LP, and like it's gonna be like 2k LP low mass, and like Riot is gonna fix this in a way by adding like they're just gonna add another like 1 to 2 new leagues. They're gonna add 1 to 2 new leagues around here, so you're gonna be like. You're gonna Master, Grandmaster, Great Grandmaster, Great Grandpa Master, or some shit and whatever, you know? It's gonna be annoying for the comparisons of the ELO in between seasons, which is really, really bad. You don't want to do that, but whatever, you know? This is not good. All of this is doing this. Devaluation of ranked integrity all of the time. And that is the biggest problem. If people feel that it's too daunting, too unreliable, that if you have people who go up here now, like Odysseus, like, Odysseus cannot fully enjoy his rank 1 experience now. He cannot fully enjoy it. I kind of caught like a good train to catch it, so I can't have that many detractors, although every subsequent change will retroactively harm my value or the value of any other players who ever hit it, because people are going to be doing that all the time, right? All of your work gets tossed aside and gets memed on by other people. It gets, the value of it diminishes. It's depleted. The myth of ranked integrity is the #1 thing, even though a lot of times it's potentially an illusion. and it cannot exist with 100% accuracy. The belief in such a system is paramount. Okay, context. Humans operate on context. Okay, you need context. You need context. Okay, you don't want to climb to 4,000 LP if it's meaningless. Okay, you do not want to climb to 4,000 LP if it's meaningless. If the next year is going to be 6K and nobody's going to care about your rank. Okay. Nobody cares. You need context, okay? Without context, you're nothing but a bunch of DNA controlling your flesh and your cells to procreate, and then you can die because the DNA is going to replicate and continue living on, and you're nobody. You're nothing. The context of it matters. You need family. You need your good experience. You need your learning experiences. You need to exist embedded within like different structures. You need to enjoy art. You need to enjoy your life, follow your passions, do something interesting, okay? You need context. Context is what makes things meaningful and impactful for you, okay? If you just have a bunch of numbers you're trying to climb up to, without context, it's terrible. The context being that the rank matters. You need rank to matter. You need rank 1 to this season to matter and be a colossal upgrade, okay? You want to get there because it's the prestige. Okay, like apart from all of the fixes to a bunch of different problems in this game, that like you need rewards to top players. You can disincentivize smurfs by fixing the gains. They've already done a good job disincentivizing smurfing by removing dodging. They can also do that as well. Like if you remove dodging from the bottom 99%, it's also gonna help. You need spectate live and for example, what the fuck, I'm going to Bosnian here. I'm just yapping too much. So you need spectate live to incentivize people to play, okay? Spectate live connects to individual live stream, right? You get spectate live and you can connect it to a stream if people want to watch your POV specifically about your game to learn. So when you log into the game, you see the top tier players there and they're being rewarded. If they're too negative, you can deny this and control somewhat behavior and reinforce positive behavior or reward positive behavior. So that's like the major carrot versus stick version of this. You need to incentivize people to want to climb, and you need to reward the climb. You need to provide context for it. Okay, one of the things that I mentioned back in the day is like how, like somebody asked in the chat, how would you fix this, and like what are the solutions? Now I'm no like singular fucking entity and company. I'm just like giving my opinions here, and like one of the opinions that I've been putting forth is was it this one? Yeah, this one. I posted this in January when I noticed that the shit was going off. Okay, January 16th, it was responding to Phroxzon, by the way. I responded to Phroxzon here, and I got a quite good deal of likes. So let's go to the potential of the solution here. I think it's time to seriously consider reworking how Apex tiers work again. Like, we kind of saw it coming that it's all gonna implode. Every year, the LP numbers get more inflated, okay? And they shift a bit. It's not that big of a deal from year to year, but eventually it makes whole thing meaningless. Context, okay? I believe everyone agrees that you shouldn't be able to get plus 30 on 1300 LP account, okay? I also think Challenger MMR shouldn't be a thing. Challenger MMR is like absurd, okay? It's absolutely absurd. And this introduces a lot of inaccuracies down the line in the system because League of Legends is not one live thing like chess. It's not like one thing that continues existing. It's like every year is like different. Every year shifts. There's a lot of changes. You're changing the rules, okay? Imagine you have like the world tennis leaderboard, but the next year they introduce like minions in tennis. They introduce like a robot that walks in between the like fucking net and it's gonna block your shots, you know? It's like the player from the previous year, especially in this year, like obviously due to the time passing, but also the changes, cannot be compared within the previous thing. It can be softly, but not too much. And too much meaning in Challenger, because that's the most important thing, okay? So you cannot have Challenger MMR from a previous year in the current year, when the current year is so much more different, because you're selecting for the Apex player experience, and the Apex player is not transitory from year to year, because things are different. And that, like, the challengers are made, they're forged on the tiny differences in the detail of one's play, okay? That's how it works. It's forged on the detail. Challenger rank you should have to fight for, and only the best should earn it. Not primarily challenges from last year, okay? If I have an account that's like, which I do have, like 2,300 right now, if I just play next year, there's no way in hell I'm not gonna reach Challenger. I could be like the most dog shit player in the next year, I will reach Challenger. They can make VelKoz do 50% of the damage. I will reach Challenger next year, okay? It's like you're coming to a party, but all the slots are reserved in a way. Out of 300 slots, there's like 220 that are reserved for the VIPs. And all you peasants are fighting for like the remaining 80 slots. I legit breezed the challenge this year while VelKoz is trash in this meta. Okay? That hits a little bit hard when I hit rank 1. It's a little bit weird, but... Challenger gets jam-packed early season. People just want to hover there. Stifling competition down the line in the season. No wonder why almost every Challenger player has multiple accounts. Another reason to reinforce smurfing. Okay, now here's a proposed fix, okay? As I said, there shouldn't be a Challenger, there shouldn't be MMR higher than Master. I recognize the value of having Master MMR and, like, the guessing of the system where you belong, which makes sense, right? Once you reach Master, you would go and compete in a pure ELO-based ladder without hidden MMR, okay? So now you just normalize across, like, a random number, like, arbitrary number. You can make it 1,000 and then, like, lower it, but, like, do a minus 1,000 if you want to represent it and compare it between the seasons. For example, if you want to compare it to the current one, or you can keep it 1,000, doesn't really matter. The 1,000 would be the lowest amount in Master, right? And when you go below 1,000, you're due for kicking out. Everyone who gets to Master such an arbitrary number like 1,000 elo. If they fall below, they're poised for demotion. You would play versus people of similarly proven skill, of similar MMR from a year or two, okay? Which would increase the rating's accuracy tremendously, because you're honing it by the most current metric. You're honing it with the most current metric, okay? You're not rewarding the older season that much. Playing versus lower ranks yields less LP and costs more if lost. System would be self-fully regulated. This is basically the ELO system, okay? This is basically the ELO system. It's self-regulatory, and this is the system 3, okay? This is the system 2 that we talked about. System 3, no Guardian. Okay, the difference of having no Guardian in the system 3 is you don't need a soft cap. Soft cap exists by itself, okay? Soft cap exists by itself because who are you going to play against? You have, like, if you're rank 1, who do you play against? They are all lower elo. Okay, everybody's below you, so naturally, your gains will be the worst. Naturally, your gains will be the worst if you're rank 1. Okay, because like the game will be populated by people who are below you. It's a self-regulated system. It's like Magnus Carlsen playing chess against me. If he beats me, he should get 0 because I'm worthless at that game. Like, and the game is gonna aim to populate it with the people who are close to you, but based on the closest of the populated player base, that will instruct your gains. Your gains shouldn't be normalized on like and a number like plus 15, and then every game it has to be plus 15 for you, regardless of who you're playing with or against. It's not that the system is shoehorning the people who he thinks could match the number 15 for you, but instead it matches you with the people who are available at the time, and it instructs the number of gain based on that. It's reversing the sequence, thereby removing or like lowering the amount of inaccuracies. Inaccuracies have to exist, but it lowers the amount. I hope I'm doing a good job explaining this, because in my head, it sort of makes sense. Play versus lower yieldsless system will be fully self-pros. Okay, more accurate skill rating. That is just a given. Challenger and GM regain prestige. They regain the context. They regain the contextual value. Challenger and GM gain prestige, okay? And they're comparable from season to season. Because if you're Challenger in one season, you can say, I was Challenger in that season. The person from season 20 is like, I'm Challenger in this season, and your ranks are somewhat equal. They're somewhat comparable because they're both regulated by the same exact system. Season 20 guy will have maybe a little bit more, depending on the player base of the game, maybe have a bit more problems getting it because there might be more player base. But generally, that's sort of the rating, okay? Whereas in the current system, it's like, who gives a fuck? It doesn't matter. You're 1 KLP. Fuck out of here, little master. Anyway, Elo is standardized and comparable from year to year. Cons, okay, this is the cons. People lose the sense of progress that comes with inflation. Okay, this is the con. I recognize my own argument that there's a con here. What I maintain is that you can have this inflation. You can have the abstraction that is necessary for the players to feel progress. You can have a bunch of abstractions on top of your elo, like for the 99% of people. But for the top 1%, this is more important. Okay, this accuracy is more important. Prestige is more important because everybody looks up. Everybody wants to be that guy. Everybody wants to climb, and they need reason to climb. They need context to climb. I get that inflating LP numbers over years can be a powerful motivator to people grinding. Like, let's say you're exactly the same player from year to year, and you're playing at 50% rate, and like if it inflates you a little bit, and like one season you're platinum and like 2, and the next one you're like emerald 4, you're like, okay, you're feeling good about it, even though you did nothing. But like, you can still sort of have that. Because the master and above will be a pure elo ladder that self-regulates. I believe similar effects can be achieved by adding new ranks and changing some names every couple of years. That's also a thing. Keep in mind that these problems you're seeing are just going to keep growing and accelerating as every ladder inaccuracy gets compounded over time. Okay, notice this thing I tweeted in January. This thing about compounding the mistakes and inaccuracies of the system. What do you think that happens if a system that is uncapped and you go to 4K? What do you think that happens on a system that goes to 3K LP? Do you think there's going to be more inaccuracies in that system when the MMR is pushing you to reach 3000 LP in the next season? Do you count that as an inaccuracy? I certainly do. Because if, let's say, like VelKoz is good in one season, I climb up to 3K LP. Next season, VelKoz sucks, and I still get to 3K LP, even though VelKoz is, like, horrible, for example. Do I belong there? No. No. Like, that's an inaccuracy. I'm not supposed to be there. It's a complete inaccuracy on the system. Every tiny fix involves a chance of further messing up the ranked integrity. Notice this, I don't even work for this company, man. I've been like working for 8 years to get a fucking partner, and I got it. It's in the process of, unless they kick me out because of it. Like, I don't even work for this company, okay? And I'm thinking about the ranked integrity because messing up the ranked integrity is very, very big deal. It is what kills the context. When context dies, the game is soon to follow. Because if you don't have context, it's all meaningless dog shit, and people realize it's meaningless. You need the illusion of prestige and ranked integrity. Another possible solution to explore would be a hard reset ladder every 5 or 10 years. This is like, you can run on system 1 and have a hard reset every 5 years or so, and you'd be totally fine because the mistakes wouldn't compound over the years as much, and you can enjoy the benefits, right? But this is another thing that Riot is not doing, which is another thing they can do. Like there are 2 possible branches and solutions here that I offer that I believe are both much, much better than whatever the fuck they're doing right now. And like, I'm pretty sure everything is better than like messing up with a fucking live season, okay? That's how you get electrocuted. Like, you don't change stuff while it's running. Which would eliminate these inaccuracies, produce a highly curated ladder for the first few years, and then before the inaccuracies again start to compound. Anyway, I do not want to see people at 3K LP and like playing next year. I don't. I really don't. And as much as you think this is a problem for this year, the 3 to 4K LP, like everyone's memeing on this and everyone's like making videos about it. It's like, Riot said 3000 LP, 4000 LP, this season is doomed, this year is gonna suck. Well, wait until you see the next one. Wait until you see the next one, because next one's going to be very dicey. And you know what happens when the like Riot realizes during the next one that it's kind of absurd that people at 3K are getting plus 30. And Riot starts to pull back. And they come up with a new idea how to fix it again during live season. And then they pull the break. They introduce the soft cap again on the next year. And then like all the games go back to 10 and the ladder implodes. So I'm trying to save a lot of headache here. And we got to think a little bit long term. So if I get challenger today, it means nothing. I don't know if it means, it obviously means something, but like it means less and less and less and less so. And until Riot starts to put prestige and value into the challenger rank, it's not going to get respected. It's not going to get valued. And we all know these stories about Faker being a solo queue player and then getting picked up from solo queue because he was just that good. And he got picked up from solo queue by scouts into a team. That is a thing of the past. That doesn't happen anymore. Rank is utterly meaningless at discerning who's the best player in the game right now. And I say that knowing fully well I'm detracting from my own rank 1 achievement. But it's true. People have lost faith in the ranking system for a really, really long time right now. You can be rank 1 and be like, any teams? Anyone want to pick up the rank 1? No, you're not even going to get a tryout on like some scuffed ass academy team. Nobody cares about the ranking because the ranking doesn't select for the highest skill. There's problems with it. I've been yapping for an hour. I don't know. I hope this made sense. I hope this made sense.